So I put up the bit about, in this version, they delivered me in the crown of thorns, as we told in the Hague Council of Royals, as we were preparing our entrance, and in the Council of Hague, which is what we call it, where you call me when you need a wing and a prayer, but we went on a planetary, I don't know. So we entered that time frame, and we were asking for the help of the royals to welcome in my forgotten about children as the center of SciSim and center of all of human and immortality, the vampires, the wealth of the world. I don't know. We created as Jews together. We created this new found following of Christian. And I have jewel eyes, Jewel. I am Catherine the Great. I have two different paths before me in 1899. My one grandmother was born in West Virginia, United States of America. Antonin Cataruzza was not born in Italy yet. He would not come for another 11 years. Mariah did not arrive in Belfast, Ireland until 1919. And Clifford Gunder Sr., but in his family he was senior. I don't know, when he was born he was just Clifford Gunder in Iowa, Iowa, for the Maxwells and the Brennans and whatnot from elsewhere, or Norway, when they were born on the farm in Iowa, in the United States of America. I don't know what year he was born. I think it was after 1900s. He was closer to Mariah's age, who then became Marie. So they still were the forgotten. They were not acknowledged on the royal stage. They were not given money. They were not given partnership. They were not brought into the centerfold of anything royal. For God's sakes, I have many different spraga. I have spraka. I'm the woman of worlds. This world, the next world, the world before, the world after. I bring many things. Such great wealth, they said, I don't want the world outside of this one at the United States of America and the United States level of running things in State Department to educate, try to chase after, or come to the level of royal that I am in hurting me when I am vampirically reborn to the womb. And then I have the second coming of Christ after my own extra special immaculate twin emergence for the pinnacle of the vampire community. That's what NICKLAUS and I are. He and I come exactly like lightning strikes twice for the two of us. And then I bring our son, Alexander, if the world is painted wrong, and if it's painted correctly, he will be a NICKLAUS or a Nicholas Tsar, depending on the version and how the world receives us in that one crucially important meeting of how to use the royal assets, the royal funds, in order to include and scoop up the De Roya, which was Angelina De Roya, who is to be my grandmother in West Virginia, the De Flippos, and so on and so forth, for the Cataruzza man, who would bring Lewis in if, all was whatever. There was very specifics, but they should have all been brought into the centerfold and taught and helped. I mean, Lewis is so, first of all, the royal partnership, where we have the equipment, we have the economy, we have the royal jewels, and then there's the managers of that level. I walked through with NICKLAUS before we were technically born to the earth, but I mean, we're vampires, so what the hell's the difference? Plus we have whatever we do at genetics above everybody else's. I called, I'm a witch, he's a warlock, we're magic, we're jinn, so, and genie. The Ayatollah made a nice, I mean, I didn't think it was a bad statement. I mean, he was very muted. I appreciated that. He called Trump a Jew, which I giggle because I say, now how, as an Ayatollah, can you tell the difference between a Christian and a Jew? I'm just curious. I mean, I'm Christian and Jew. I can't tell the difference. For a lion who's Zion, yeah, don't call me lion, Lyon, or Lion. Call me Zion, Zion. So this way we don't get the spraka in an uproar about the word for the people who don't tell the truth. Right, that's where that word came from. By the way, I left my phone in the car, and I walked to they call it the pharmacy, the apothecary, I call it, but the drugstore, I call him Shaggy, Shaggy. I told him why I call him Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, because he's the idiot, the American idiot anyway. And then I said, my son, however, is a carbon copy, just like Alexander. He wears that ascot around his neck and the scarf like his mother, and he looks really nice. And he kept calling my son, he keeps, first of all, calling me Grimshaw, Grimmshaw, for his whatever connection. And then my son, he keeps calling Billy the Kid, Billlykid. And so, and I said to him, now let me ask you a question, Shaggy. I said, now that we've established that, I suppose that makes me Velma, because I have another life where I'm Daphne with a really handsome man. I was like, but now I'm stuck with you, Shaggy. So, did you ever notice that Jason Roemer looks like Mike Myers? From Goldfinger. When Jay shaves his head, I heard Shaggy, by the way, meaning Anthony, 1975, said that he just saw a picture of Jay who shaved his head. And I'm like, isn't that funny? Mike Myers from the White Mask and the Hockey Stick is living on Elm Street, but that was Freddy Krueger. So I don't know on horror films. I never watched either. I'm not a big fan of horror. That's your expertise at human level. Turning my stories into millions. But Jason Roemer is the Mike Myers, like whatever the hell his name was. Dr. Evil. Yeah, that's exactly what Jason is. I mean, to NICKLAUS and I and Alexander's real father, that we call Jason Dr. Evil. Yeah, because he is like, oh boy, that is not going to look pretty on the gods of the next round. Why is this happening? Anybody catch the Ayatollah's phone number? Can somebody call him up and say, something's not right in the world. Hasn't been since 1890. Kiddo came back in 1978. They're still bowling for soup at 1985. Still didn't get anything right. We almost shut the State Department, the USA down, because I said, listen to me in Spraka. I'm telling you, when I go out and I meet with my Caesore, the empire, the one that I own in Caesar, runs the world, whether you like it or not. I mean, I'll give you a whole bunch of fancy titles. It doesn't really matter unless you're in a specific area, and then you say, well, I'm God. God works because it's just Goddess Nix and Goddess Nox. Depends. Are you Jew or are you a Christian? Or do you like the Jews or do you like the Christians better? I mean, I work either. I work them all. So, I mean, I just have to know which one of my Mickey Sticker Club names to use on the document to make sure that I cover our conversation was documented properly on your behalf and my own. So this way, if the rest of the idiots don't grow the world properly according to how I told them I wanted it done, you and I have something to fall back on as far as words shared and documented on our own behalf. No matter the date, doesn't matter. I'm a vampire. What's the difference between a vampire being in a coffin, COFFIN, and having coffee, COFFEE? Just curious. Depends who she's sharing coffee with and where's NICKLAUS and her children. She alone or is she with someone? Makes a big difference. Always will.